Hi there. Thank you for joining me tonight for my Facebook Like Page Basics webinar. This is actually the second time going through this webinar because during the live call, I was a bundle of nerves. This is the first time I've ever done a webinar, and I had quite a few people register and hop on, so it was like really crazy for me, and I just forgot to hit the record button. So I am coming at you again just after the live call. I'm going to try to make it as close to the same as possible. There were also some questions at the end of the live call that I'm going to go ahead and include at the end here. So with that, I'm just going to go ahead and jump in and get started, and thank you again for hopping on. I've got a little slideshow presentation for you, so I'm going to go ahead and hop in here. But this is basically like the very beginning of Facebook like pages. Like literally what is a Facebook like page and how do I make one, the beginning. An in-depth guide to learning how to set it up, navigate it, and use your like page for your Beachbody business. Because I know that, especially from my own experience with my own business, a Facebook like page is no easy feat. It's not something that I could even teach in just this one webinar. There is so much more to it than that. So my plan is to do a series of webinars. So we've got this one this month, and then next month I'll be doing kind of a best practices one, and we'll see what happens after that. So jumping in, so if I can get my presentation to work. There we go. My name is Heather Noel. I'm a 27-year-old stay-at-home mom and wife. I have one little boy. I became a virtual assistant while I was 6 months pregnant with my son, actually. I was working a grocery store job in the kitchens, and like they had a hot foods department and everything. And I ended up actually quitting because my pregnancy had caused some complications that the management was not willing to like change my position to accommodate, if that makes sense. So it was one that caused me a great deal of pain, and I ended up quitting for the duration of my pregnancy. And eventually, as a new parent, there are a lot of fears. So I kind of took to the internet to see about a way to make more money. At that point, I came across 15-star diamond Tara Bialik. At that time, she was about a 2-star diamond. So I did a couple of little odd jobs for her, and then just after my son was born, she went ahead and decided to hire me as her actual like go-to assistant, where I had like an hourly a set of hourly time to work in. So for her, I spent the last 2.5 years working. I eventually grew my clients. I now have, at one point I had 8, and I now have 5, just because 8 was too many. So I do 5 clients, plus I do some other kind of VA work and graphic design and consulting and stuff intermixed with that. But I've spent the last 2.5 years going through just a ton of other social media trainings and kind of immersing myself in the coaching business and learning the ins and outs for you guys. Because I truly think that what you guys have to offer is amazing. And I just found my passion as a VA. So that's just a little bit about me, and now we're going to get into what this webinar is about. So like I said earlier, we're going to go to the basics with what is a like page, how do you make one, where I'm going to do an actual live tutorial and walk you through it so that you can see that I know what you're going through, if that makes sense. Like I want to walk through it with you and make sure that you understand how it all works and what everything does. Then we'll talk about your about section, and how to navigate your like page as a whole. We'll get into a little bit about the audience insights, the business manager, and then at the end we'll talk a little bit about personal page versus like page and what to do with each one of those. So moving forward, we're just going to jump into section 1. A Facebook like page is basically Facebook's way of separating business accounts from personal accounts. They wanted a way to set it up so that people weren't bombarded by messages and, tags and other kinds of advertisements from other businesses. So there's a few advantages and disadvantages. The advantages speak for themselves, and I really, truly think that it's worth the jump to go ahead and get a Facebook like page. It's better for expanding your cold market. So you're going to reach through a Facebook like page so many more, like millions more people you have the potential to reach through your like page than you ever could a personal page. It's great for separating your business from your personal life so you can still remain, yourself on your personal page. You don't have to change everything about who you are and how you post just because you're a business owner. You can sprinkle your business into your personal page, but this way people aren't overrun with everything business when they're connected to your personal profile. It's a great way to advertise. It's the only way to advertise on Facebook. Another tidbit that is not actually written down here, it's actually against the terms and conditions of Facebook to run a business without using a like page to do so. So if they catch you doing that on your personal profile, they can actually shut your account down and you've lost everything. So 100% you need to get a like page. Another disadvantage to using your personal page for your business is you have a cap on the number of people and interactions you can have at 5,000. So when you hit that cap, you're forced to either reduce the number of friends and interactions you have or go and get a like page. It would be so much easier to start your like page now and leave the friend space available for actual solid leads who are interested in who you are and what you have to offer as a coach. So some disadvantages of the like page, there's a learning curve. The webinar will help with that. However, it's not going to give you everything you need. And trust me, I couldn't do that even if I had all that knowledge in a way that I can condense it into a webinar, because it's so much. There's so much. I always joke that Facebook should be its own college course. So there's a learning curve, but with time and patience, anybody can do it. You just need to basically start at the beginning. Don't jump straight into creating advertisements from just creating your like page. Spend some time, learn about how a Facebook like page works and what to put on it, that kind of thing. And that being said, advertising is tricky anyway. It's not unlearnable or impossible. And it's not for like the super pros or anything like that. But it does have quite a bit of a learning curve to it. You have to just have a lot of patience to try new things and fail a lot. And it's going to happen. So the next thing is that you must be conscious of what you're posting on your like page, because everything is public. There is no option to hide it from certain people. So if there are certain things that you don't want certain people to see, either A, they need to not be connected to your like page, or B, you need to post it on your personal page and filter out the people that you don't want to see through their filtering options. Now, that's not to say that your personal profile isn't completely public. But you do have to be a little bit more careful with the like page, especially because your like page is your storefront. And if you're intending on operating your Beachbody business, you need to have a storefront. That is not your Beachbody website, if that makes sense. The last disadvantage I had or could come up with was that you're unable to tag people in your posts or initiate messages with followers. Now you can post something and then open it up and edit it and tag somebody in an image that you uploaded. But you have to post it first, then go back and edit it. And if I'm not mistaken, they will be taking that option away in the near future. Don't know when, but this is just kind of what's been going on and going around in the Facebook land. Now, like I said, followers can initiate a message with you, but you can't type in somebody's name and go start a conversation with them. They have to have messaged you first. And so for this reason, that's why it's really important to take the people who like your page and invite them to your personal page. That's why you do both. And then you can initiate a conversation with them anytime you want. So bottom line, get a like page. So now I'm actually going to go into the walkthrough for the how-to on setting up your like page. So bear with me here. I'm just going to close out of my presentation here and go and create a new page. So if I were anywhere on Facebook, you could do this anywhere on Facebook. You're just going to go up here to this little arrow. I'm going to do my little control button here so you can see that. And here's the one I created when we did this the first time. So I'm just going to go create a page again. And I always recommend that coaches choose this category here, artist, band, or public figure. Unless you're somebody who does Beachbody and is a personal trainer and has their own business or something where they have like a brick and mortar place for people to go, you're going to want to go with the public figure option. None of these are going to apply to you. And then again, they ask you to do a subcategory. So the best two options that I could give, maybe an athlete, like if you're a professional athlete or something and you use Beachbody products and you like that or whatever, maybe you can do the athlete, but that's not likely. Also coach, they have that in there, but I would be careful with that too because that can be mistaken for either like a business coach or a personal trainer style coach. And if you aren't certified in all that stuff, it can confuse people. So bottom line here, I just usually tell people to pick public figure. If you are not sure what you want to name your business or your like page yet, that's okay because they'll let you change it later. So for the purposes of this, I'm just going to put in HMVA LP Basics Webinar. And click Get Started. And it's going to bring me into this really cool little wizard here. It just kind of walks you through the very first basic steps. So what you're seeing here is the request for a description and a website. The description is a really, really brief description of you or your page and what you hope to bring forth. It's about the length of a text message, so it's got to be super short. It's only 155 characters. And then below that, they have a section for website. Put this in big, bold letters. Do not put your Beachbody website in here. It's kind of bad juju. It drives away potential followers when they go to click your About section and they see that and they click on that link. They automatically know that you're going to sell them something. Like, it's just automatic. There's no question about it. And 9 times out of 10, the person will just click off your page and move on. And so you lose people by doing that. In our business, we share because we care. We don't sell. We're not car salesmen. We're in the business of changing lives and bettering people and building the relationship. And so putting your Beachbody link in there kind of defeats that purpose. It completely eradicates the chance for you to ever get to know that person because they already know, even though you're talking to them and trying to be their friend, eventually you're going to bring something up. And it just feels icky to them once they've already got that information. So bottom line, don't put your Beachbody website in there. I do have to go ahead and put in a short little word or something, so I'm just going to do description for the purposes of plugging something in there so I can click next. Okay, the next section is your profile picture. If you just click upload from computer, if you have some in your downloads folder or your pictures folder, you can just pick one that you already have or take one and then upload it to your computer or whatever, or you can just skip this step and do it later. It's up to you. But it's just kind of a nice way to get your face up on there first thing right out of the cage or bat or whatever. So while that's uploading, it's going to ask next if we want to add this page to our favorites. All that means is it puts it in a sidebar for you on any page of Facebook. It's over on the left-hand side where it just puts a link to your page right there, so it's easy for you to find. So I would go ahead and click that Add to Favorites button, and then it's going to appear right next to where my stuff is over here. And click Next. Okay, so this section, this is the tricky one. This is the one that trips people up. This preferred page audience does not limit the people who can see your page. It's basically Facebook's way of you know how when they have the suggested pages section and stuff like that, this is Facebook's way of delivering your page to people who may match your target market, you know, the people who matter to you most. They'll do their best. Anyone can find your page, but this is about who you're most likely to connect with. So the first thing I want you to do is click this drop down here with locations, and I want you to click people who live in this location. If you're a Canadian coach, go ahead and just plug in Canada. If you're a US coach, plug in US. And if you don't really care which country your people are from, you can plug in both. In my instance, I am a Beachbody assistant, so I want both United States and Canada. Sorry. All right, and the next section is age range. So for you guys, the average age range is between 25 and 45 for people who tend to be interested in what you guys offer. That can vary a little bit depending on your age, because some of you are a little bit older, and so you resonate with an older target market. Whereas some of you are like right smack dab in the middle and you could go either way, and some of you are really young. So choose whichever is appropriate for you within those parameters. In my instance, the people I tend to work with tend to be anywhere between 30 and 35 years old, all the way up to 50 and 60 years old. I have worked with any number of people. So I'm just going to plug in 30 and 55. That's a pretty good median, and you don't want to have too much range between the numbers. Actually, 30 and 55 is probably a bit far, so maybe 45. And then I'm going to select women because 99% of the people I work with are women. If you don't care, then click all. If you want to work with men, click men. It's up to you. And then this is kind of like a really loose outline for your target person. So the next thing they ask you about is your interests. This is a really dumbed down version of what they have later on in like the Power Editor and the Ads Manager. So in here, you're just going to type in something. In my instance, I'm a VA who works with coaches. So logically, I'm going to type in Beachbody. You guys don't type in Beachbody because then you'll get nothing but coaches liking your page, and that's not what you want to do. So I'm just going to click the independent Beachbody coach one just to get us going. And I'm going to make my language English US. And I stress that because when you pick all, you're opening yourself up to actually be delivering things to people who are from other countries. And so it's just better. It's just one more way to filter out other people that you don't want to connect with. Okay, so click save, and that'll bring us out of the wizard and into the home page for your Facebook like page. So you are the only one who sees your page like this. You have a lot more editing power over it, and then you see it automatically plugged in my profile picture, and it made my short description over here. So you're gonna see, we're gonna go over this a little bit more in just a little bit. I'm gonna pull back up my little slideshow for you, but you're gonna see some things pop up over here on the right, and you're probably not too sure about what all this tabs mess is going on over here. We're gonna go over all of that in just a second. So let me stop my share and open up my presentation. And share screen. All right. So about section. This is one of the first places people browse on your like page, so you want to make sure it's up to par. This is just kind of a do's and don'ts list, or fill it out and don't fill it out. But I'll kind of go over it with you and why I chose what I did. So your username is something that should be easy for people to correlate with you. So Tara's is facebook.com/TaraBFitness for her like page. Or mine's Heather Noel VA for my like page. So obviously those are easy to remember. They're really short. There's not a lot of crazy numbers or symbols in them. And it relates to me and my business. Next is the start date, founding date. This would be the start or founding date of your business, not your like page. So if you've been a coach for 2 years, put your start date. It's good to put this information here because it lets people know if you're just somebody to kind of watch for a while before taking action, or if you're somebody who's seasoned and they would feel more comfortable jumping in with you. You don't have to fill it out, but it makes you look good when, 2 years down the road, you can say you've been a coach for 2 years. You know what I'm saying? So try not to don't get too much into your head about this. Location, just be real broad. Your city and state is fine if you don't want to do a physical address, or maybe even just a state. Like whatever it is that you want to do, it'll kind of let you decide what to show in there. Next section is operating hours. So that you're only going to want to fill in if you want to. For the most part, coaches, in my experience, tend to be very busy people, stay-at-home moms and working moms and that kind of thing. So you guys don't have operating hours where you're sitting down at a computer. You're working from your phones where you can. So I don't see a necessity to plug specific operating hours in. And then just like I said earlier when we were talking about like the advantages and disadvantages, if people message you, and Facebook will tell others how long it takes you on average to respond to a message and what your responding rate is. So for instance, for mine, I think it's a 99% response rate within 24 hours or something like that. And people can see that. So make sure that you're comfortable with I wouldn't say comfortable, make sure you're consistent with checking in on your notifications and your messages. So a short description is what they had you fill in at the very beginning. That 160 character or so little blurb. Long description is the one you're going to want to work on a little bit. That's where you're going to want to tell your story, who you are, what you're about, and that kind of thing. Like give them a little bit more information about you and your business. But also don't make it like overly salesy either. Just be multifaceted and be real and be a real person. People relate to that so much better than they do a business, or so to speak. You want people to follow you like they're your friend. So kind of act like you are a little bit more personal there. Mission statement, very obvious. What is your mission through Beachbody? What are you using Beachbody to do? And then your contact information. So that's other social media accounts. If you want to put a phone number up there, that's great. If you're not comfortable with using your personal phone number, there's a great app out there called Google Voice that you can get on Android or iPhone that basically gives you a phone number where people can call or a text message or send a voicemail and you can call out of. And it's pretty much free. I think there's a couple of parts of it that require you to purchase credits for it, but it's a really great piece of technology that's going to kind of let you be a little more anonymous and not have people have your personal information. So yeah, phone number, email address, social media information, that's what you're going to put into the contact. So you're going to want to leave your awards blank unless you have some kind of degree that ties into your Beachbody business. Now, this is really key if you do. So plugging in that you're a Beachbody coach who's also a nutritionist would be really great. It really ramps up your, I guess you could say like your, I want to say specs, but that's not the right word. I'm just going to move on. You could plug in like nutritionist, or if you're certified for like Country Heat or Size or PIO or something like that, you can plug in that you're a certified instructor. Anything that really pertains and could be tied into your Beachbody business, you could plug in there. If you don't have anything, no worries. It doesn't mean that you're not going to get followers or anything like that. Just leave it blank. Next is your products or services. That is more geared towards people who sell something outside of like their own, it's within their own company. So like Walmart might advertise some products and services, and I advertise my services on my like page, but you guys have everything set up for you through Beachbody, and your idea is to build the relationship first. So you're not going to want to put all that mess in there. Again, don't list your Team Beachbody website. I can't tell you how important this is because it scares people away if they click on it and they see that Beachbody page open. And last is the official page section. Just ignore it. It's really only used for big celebrities and brand names like Walmart or, I don't know, Kanye West, where you have to verify that it's really Kanye or something. It's basically for those people and brands protection and not really going to be applicable to you. So bottom line, just give your visitors as much information about you and your mission and your business as possible. Okay, so back over to Facebook. I know I said I would come back around, so now I just want to teach you how to navigate. Across the top, you have kind of like your main sections of the of the Facebook page. Keep wanting to say website, sorry. So your page button right here, that's like the home button. If you're stuck somewhere or you want to go back to the main section of your like page, just click the page button. Then the next thing over is where they put your messages for your like page. When people message your like page, that's where they go. They do not show up in your regular messages tab for your personal profile. You have to go into your like page to check them. Same thing with notifications. The notifications do not show up in your regular notification section up here. They go into this section right here. And then the next section over is insights, which we'll go over a little bit later. The publishing tools, though, I do want to open up and talk about because they have this nifty little scheduled posts tool where you can create a post and then schedule it to go out later and not have to worry about it for the day. This is particularly great because of the number of times you're supposed to be putting up on your like page, the number of times you're supposed to be posting. It can be great to schedule like your motivation post for the day ahead or, a couple little things, but you don't want to schedule everything if you can help it. You definitely want to be kind of real and in the moment on your like page too. Your like page is going to look a lot like a personal page, but it's going to be a lot more cleaned up, more professional. You're going to have a lot more value on your like page. You're going to have a lot more like call to action for your business and otherwise, not just for your business. Call to action just basically means you want somebody to do something. It doesn't necessarily mean it has to be your business. But bottom line, publishing tools is great, especially if you're busy and don't have a lot of time to constantly be opening up Facebook to post something. And this only works for your like page and not your personal page, so keep that in mind. We'll go over a little bit more detail on like page versus personal page later. Okay, so the next section I want to show you is settings. This is basically where you can edit just about everything about your page. Not necessarily the abouts, but like the functions of your page. So go in and read these over really carefully, but I'm going to kind of briefly touch them. So shortcuts, that basically just means it's put into that favorite section we talked about at the beginning of our page creation. Page visibility, is it published or hidden? I believe one of you asked me if you could hide your page. I think to do that, you just click unpublished page and you can still mess around with it. Visitor posts, I would actually edit that and make it so that you have to review the posts by other people on your page before they show up, and that can really just help make sure it's a positive and clean environment and you don't get any crazies or creeps on there. So I would save those changes. And I know I'm kind of breezing through these. They're really simple, and it's stuff that you're going to want to play with on your own depending on your own personal preference. So I'm just kind of showing you around and not really giving a whole bunch of detail here. For coaches, leave reviews turned off. Honestly, you can get testimonials through your challenge groups and through your coaching opportunity and stuff like that. They just kind of naturally come up when people do their results. So just leave the reviews off. It doesn't need to be on your page. Now, if you were a business who was selling something, then yeah, reviews would be great and people would know. Or if you were a restaurant or something, but this doesn't apply to you guys. So the next section is this news feed audience and visibility for posts. the ability to narrow the potential audience for news feed and limit visibility on your posts. So basically, it's a function that kind of reduces the number of people that see your stuff. I would leave it turned off because that's kind of the opposite of what you want to do. Messages, again, people can contact your page privately. If you click it, the only other option is to disallow. Tagging ability. So only people who, let me see what that said, only people who help manage my page can tag the photos posted on it. So that basically prevents any Joe Schmo from coming on your page and tagging themselves in one of the pictures you posted. They have to help you run your page to be able to do that. People in other pages can tag my page. Leave it on because somebody might say, oh, thank you so much for changing my life. You know, you want that recognition up there because it just builds the hype for you and your business. Let's see, page location for frames. Other people can use your page's location for photo and video frames. We're going to turn that off. I don't think that, because you guys operate online and you're public figures and not a brick and mortar, I would actually go ahead and disable that. And now if you were some other kind of business, then maybe leave it on, but I don't think it's relevant to you guys. Country restrictions, you can actually decide, okay, well, my page can only be shown to viewers in these countries. So I'm going to do United States and Canada. And then that also helps kind of narrow down the type of people that like your page and the type of people you want to work with. Oh, snap. I accidentally you got to pay attention to this radio button because I almost messed myself up. But you make sure that you say only show this page to viewers in these countries and not hide it. Okay, so that's fixed up. Age restrictions, again, not really relevant to you, but maybe like 21 and over. I mean, I don't know. It's not something that's super required because you're not selling alcohol or tobacco or anything that requires an age verification. So I would just kind of let it go. Page moderation and profanity filter, those are obviously personal preferences. Me, personally, I have a potty mouth, and so that's just part of who I am. So I tend to just leave it alone because it doesn't bother me at all. If it bothers you, then turn it on. Just whatever your preference is. You can choose whether your page is recommended to others. You can choose what language your page is posted in or your posts appear in. You can decide how comments are displayed, whether people can download your content. And then down here you have the option to download your page. That's if you are interested in Teamzy, it'll tell you to go get your page data. That's where that is. And then the other options, like if you have duplicate pages and you want to merge them, like maybe, for instance, the other two that I created this evening, you have to enter your password so people can't, I guess you could say, take your content, or I don't know, like it's a security thing. So you merge your two pages and then select the page that you want to have it combined into. We'll do this one, keep that page, and then they'll merge it for you. Super simple. And then what should happen is when I click this arrow, the other one will disappear eventually. So back to settings where we were. And then you can delete your page down here. That's just the general tab. I'm not going to go over every single tab because that would take us forever, but I am going to point out a couple of really important ones. So if you click edit page, this edits the order that the little tabs on the left are displayed in. Personally, this is just my personal preference for how they show up, but you can do it however you want, or they also have some nice little templates you can pull up. It doesn't necessarily change the general layout of your page, just the way things are displayed in, like the order they're displayed in. Excuse me. Okay, so notifications again is options on your notifications. What do you want to receive? How do you want to receive it? That kind of thing. Page roles, super important. If you are looking to outsource for your Beachbody business, you would probably add the person in here with a page role. Otherwise, you could also use the business manager, which we'll get into later, that has even more customization for what people can and can't be allowed to do as a helper on your page. So keep that in mind. And then this people and other pages tab. I don't know what's going on with it tonight because it's having trouble loading, and it did it for my business like page as well. But basically, it should display a list of the people who have or other pages who have recently liked your page. And it allows you to like hover on their name and either send them a friend request, or you could send them a message if they have that enabled. So it kind of gives you the ability to monitor who's liking your page and see if you maybe need to add them as a friend to start a relationship with them. I use this pretty frequently as an assistant, so you might want to make sure that this is something you look into. And then remember I said earlier about the preferred page audience that you could edit it, that thing that popped up in the tutorial, that's where this is right here, is this preferred page audience section. Apps, partner apps and services, featured, that kind of stuff, probably not really going to be relevant to you. Featured maybe, it could. I'll show you kind of what it looks like, but basically you can feature any other pages that you've liked on your like page. So for me, I would feature that I like Tara Bialik, and I like Mindy Wender, and I like Carl Deichler, and just the things that Beachbody coaches would like, so that they know that I really am somebody who works with coaches. You know what I'm saying? Totally up to you, kind of like a cosmetic thing and not necessarily like the end all be all. So the last two things I want to point out are the page support inbox, where if you ever have an issue or need to dispute a denied post or something like that, that's where all that stuff is handled. And then, of course, payments. Again, you're probably not going to handle that because it's kind of a way for you to collect payments for your services or products through Facebook. And since you guys do everything through Team Beachbody, totally irrelevant for you. And then the activity log, if you'll click that, it kind of says what's happened on your page in the last whatever. You can kind of also filter it out a little bit. So I'm just going to go ahead and open up. We're going to go back to the home screen. That's your little settings review. If you need help or have any other questions that are like really generalized, they have some pretty decent support sections, but if you need further help, you can always just message me too, whatever you need. So kind of moving forward and going down the page, we have your cover photo. This should be a really clean picture. I do design cover photos for people, so if you need one, I'm here for you. But as a general rule, these cover photos should be clean. It should be something that kind of alludes to what you do as a coach and who you are and what you believe in, like your core values or your mission statement. I don't have any examples on hand right now, but just kind of keep that in mind. Don't just slap any old picture up there. Make it look presentable and professional and attractive. And then to do that, you just click the add, or if you've already got one, there will be another button for you to change it. So moving down, you can like your own page, you can follow your own page, and then you've got all these options here under more. The important ones for you guys to note are view as page visitor. That basically lets you see what your follower sees, and not this back end. Edit page info is basically like editing your about section. Create an event. Obviously, you can create an event hosted by your like page. You can invite friends to like your page, which will be handy when you're ready to launch it. Suggest a page I don't really use. Like is your page. If you click that, Likes will show up on your page's timeline. Which page do you want to like this webinar as? So if you run more than one page, you can like it as another page. That's not like any page ever, if that makes sense. And then the rest of it is just view this insights up here, block another page, share a page, create a page. This right here is your call to action button. So I'll show you on mine. It says sign up. This is my cover photo. Now, ideally, a cover photo would have some kind of image of you, but I don't have a lot of photos of myself, so I tend to just work with the stock photos that I can find that really match up with my brand and make sure that my profile picture is a clear picture of my face. So if you're a person of little pictures like me, there's your options. Okay, so the next section, this sign up button here, there's different little call to actions you can put in here. You can plug in a link. Explore that a little bit and see what you think. Let's see. The tabs over here just kind of organizes your page a little bit. Remember earlier I said you could manage those and put them in whatever order you want. That's all that is. You can post to your page from here, view your posts in your timeline, etc. And then it'll give you like tips and some information and stats on your web page on the other side, the right side. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my little presentation here, and we will open up about Audience Insights. Audience Insights is where you can learn about your followers on your page. What does it do? It's basically used to determine what your followers look like. So you can look at the average age so that when you're doing your targeting, you're meeting that requirement, and making sure that the people who are liking the page actually match up with who you're wanting to talk to. You can determine what your audience likes or is interested in. You can see how your posts are performing. The audience likes and stuff, that goes more with the more advanced version of Insights that they give you in the Business Manager. But with the one that they give you bundled in with your page, you can see how your posts are performing, which ones are killing it, which ones flopped. You can compare them because it gives you a list and you can see which ones really do great. You can get important information about your page, like the actions that are taken, the page views, likes, reach, engagement, videos. You can monitor the events you host as your page. Not everybody uses that, but if you do, it's there. You can see what actions people are taking, and you can get a quick overview on your ads too. So bottom line, to remain successful, use this tool. You kind of have to, so that you can make sure that who you want to be is actually matching up to who people see you as, if that makes sense. So the next section is the Business Manager. And you know what? Let's go back to the Audience Insights. I do want to show you guys the back end of that just a little bit. Sorry about that. I had some notifications come in. Thought my phone was ringing. So when you come back over to your like page, just click this Insights button. And it'll bring up like an overview screen. This gives you like a quick intro of your page. Now, if I show you this on my like page, you'll kind of get a better idea. So let me do that for you. Okay, so it tells me how many times somebody's taken an action, which I think is like the sign up button. The page views. This tells you how many page views you've had in the parameters that you've set. So last 7 days, last 28 days. And you can kind of see over the last month, I've been kind of on the downs, but, you know, it is what it is. I'm working on it, see? So you can view the number of page likes you've had, how much reach you're getting in total, how many total page post engagements you're getting, which is like likes, comments, shares, emotional reactions with the little faces and stuff. And then you can get an overview of your video data as well, which I don't have any up right now, so that's why it's giving nothing. The next section is a quick overview on your ads, and if you were to click this, it would take you to the Ads Manager, so I'm just not going to do that today. At this stage in the game, if you're watching this basics webinar, you're not ready for ads, I promise. You need another few weeks to get your like page up and running and making sure that you're on par before you can really start thinking about ads. But something really handy that you'll need when you do go to do ads is, remember I told you the section where you could see your recent posts. This is just a quick overview of the 5. If I click see all, it'll open it up over here and open up the big section. But you can see which of my posts are actually doing well and which ones aren't. And then also, like if I see one like this one right here, had I thought about it, I probably would have boosted it because it did so much better than all of my other ones. And then the next section is your pages to watch, which probably you don't need that unless you help manage more than one page, which again, probably not for you. So if you just kind of go down the line, it gives you a little bit of all of those in the overview, but it expands them for you. If you click through here, you can see all kinds of charts and information. So anything where there's more than one shade of a color, one is usually a paid advertisement and the other is what naturally happened on your page without having to pay for it. So that's what's called organic. So, I mean, just kind of click through here, click through the actions, click through the post. If you click on people, this is where you can tell, like I was saying earlier, how you can tell who your fans are. So the majority of my people are 25 to, I'd say 45 or 55 here, depending on, because this is such a small section. So I may not want to include those 45 to 55 people. Maybe I just want to go 25 to 44. And pay attention to those numbers, because when you put those into, like remember earlier we did the preferred page audience or your advertisements or something, you want to make sure you don't want to do like 18 to 35, well, because then you're sending it to people who aren't likely to like your page or follow you because they don't fall within a category that normally does, if that makes sense. It's kind of like a way to predict. But that's the insights page for you. I'm going to go ahead and go back to our PowerPoint real quick. Okay. So Business Manager. I'm not going to do an on-screen tutorial for this because I can only have one Business Manager account, so I can't really go create another one. But the bottom line is that Facebook created it as like a one-stop shop for managing your pages, your page and your ad account together. So it kind of merges them both into this thing called the Business Manager, and you then have to go to the Business Manager to access it. It's kind of a pain, but it's kind of worth it because it allows you to manage the access that other people have to your pages and ad accounts. Like I said earlier, if you're outsourcing help for your like page, very handy. If not, Business Manager probably is not something you're ready for yet. Maybe in the future when you're ready to do that, yes. But you can edit like what they have access to, that kind of thing. It helps you keep your work separate. So again, like I said, you have to click out of the normal Facebook format to access this Business Manager. So it kind of forces you to not stare at your like page all day. You can also learn about what your coworkers are. By coworkers, it kind of means like your page moderators can see about you. Again, not really a tool you need. But it does manage your Facebook pixels, deeper page and audience insights for like advertising, the Power Editor, and your assets like your past images and videos that you've used in ads and stuff like that. And then you can get detailed reports on those ads and edit your account settings and billing payment methods. So bottom line, unless you plan to outsource help for your like page, Business Manager may not be necessary for you yet, but it can be a powerful tool. So now I kind of want to get into personal page versus like page, and going forward, now that you're launching a like page, well, what do you do with your personal page? You keep it running. Your personal Facebook page is going to be an asset to your business, even if that's not where you're doing the majority of your, quote, advertising or inviting. Now you will be doing like behind the scenes messages on your personal page from people who liked your like page. Crazy, right? So you kind of have 2 pages to manage going forward, but it's not so bad because you only really need to post around once or twice per day. Try to shoot for 2, like a morning and a bedtime or something like that. Make the posts about you, your life, your journey, selfies and what's going on, and family fun. And you can sprinkle Beachbody in just a little bit through like maybe posting your workout or what it's doing for you. If you're a Dream Again coach, Tara did a great post in the team page about this to give you a little bit more information on what to talk about on your like social media and how to sprinkle in coaching and challenge groups without being salesy and icky. So check that out. Do not constantly share content from your like page to your personal page. Once in a while is okay, but what happens is people start to see that stuff twice and it gets annoying and your following goes down, and the algorithms can detect when you do that, so it shows it to less people from your like page. So it messes with your stuff. If you do it once in a while, you're probably okay, but if it becomes an all-the-time thing, you're going to start to experience some issues. What you can do is occasionally tag your personal page and a like page post image. So maybe you did a sweaty selfie and posted it on your like page or something. You could then, after posting it on your like page, go in and edit it and then tag yourself in the image you uploaded. But you cannot tag yourself in the actual post. And then my last tip for your personal page is don't create an internet persona. Just be yourself and make sure to be positive, professional, and relatable. And then in the previous go-around with the live webinar, I had a question. I believe it was, I can't remember who it was from. I don't want to say a name and be wrong. So the question was, if a personal page is already public, then how do we determine what's too personal for our like page? So the rule of thumb to remember is on your like page, millions and millions of people can see it. And on your personal page, you're limited to the people who you're friends with and probably some of their friends too. So there is a lot less. I mean, yes, it can get some publicity through going viral or something, but like for business purposes, just kind of keep that in mind. And the other question that I had in relation to this was how to determine what goes on your personal page and what goes on your like page. Again, your like page needs to be, I'm going to go ahead and flip to the next slide. Your like page needs to show your life, who you are. You need to be yourself. You need to be multifaceted and let people see who you are and let your mission shine through and be a real person. You do not want to be some salesperson or some fake internet person. You want to be 100% yourself so that it's easy to post on your like page and you don't have to wonder if it matches up with who you're putting out there, if that makes sense. Again, this is kind of a gray area for a lot of people. You're only going to need to post on your personal page twice a day, so the majority of what you're posting anyway is going to go on your like page. If anything, you should be more concerned about what you're going to post on your like page and less concerned about what's going on your personal page. I hope that's not too confusing. But the bottom line, it just depends on how many people you want to reach and if you're comfortable with everybody seeing that particular thing. Because again, like page has no private setting whatsoever for your post. It's 100% public. Anybody could see it. So just keep that in mind. So getting into more on what to post on your like page, post things your target market identifies or relates to, not just about fitness or Beachbody. But for instance, if your target market is a stay-at-home mom with 2 kids and is a dog lover and you post a funny dog video, that is relevant to your market. And you can even just post things that you find funny and it kind of helps to attract your tribe. So the bottom line is your page should not be Beachbody, 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 Beachbody. Oh, look, a recipe. Or recipe, 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 Beachbody, Beachbody, recipe. Oh, look, a selfie. You need to have a lot of variety in there and mix it up. My course that I will tell you a little bit about at the end will help you get that nailed down really well. But bottom line, you need to be posting 3 to 4 times a day, making sure your pictures and videos are clean and attractive, and you need to be going live or at the very least recording and uploading videos as much as possible. If you don't have a camera or a smartphone, you need to get one, because I can promise you it's going to help you along the way and you will thrive. But don't scare your potential leads and followers away with gimmicky or salesy posts or videos. And remember that Beachbody is not your brand, it's your platform. So what are you using Beachbody to do? Your sole existence is not to sell Beachbody programs. The sole part of your job is not to sell Beachbody programs. The most important part of your job is to help people live a healthier, more fulfilled lifestyle. So keep that in mind when you're posting too. That brings me to the end. The only other question I had was how to schedule posts, but that was addressed a little bit earlier. I worked it into the main part of the webinar, but I'll kind of go over it again. So there's 2 ways to do it. You can either go to the publishing tools section that I told you about, or you can do it from your phone. Like when you go to post on your like page, you have to use the Pages app for this to work. But it'll ask you when you want to publish the post, and you can choose to schedule it or publish it now from there as well. So if you're working from your mobile phone, they still give you that option. But that wraps up all the questions that were asked of me during the live section. And I will be posting this video both on my YouTube channel, and I'll be you'll obviously have it in your email inbox. So going forward, what's next? If you'd like to work with me more in the future, or you have a few questions or what have you, you have a few options. So number 1, you can check out me and the services I offer at my website, heathernoelvas.com. 2, if you're kind of liking where this is going, but you want a little bit more info on like pages, I've got another webinar coming up next month for like page best practices. I'm not sure of the date and the time just yet. I did notice that I did not get as many live people as I wanted this time around, so I'm thinking I may edit the day of the week and maybe keep the time the same. So I will keep you posted on that, but you can register at heathernoelvas.com/best practices. I'm taking registrations now if you want them. And then the last thing you could do to keep working with me and get some more out of what I have to offer is the FitBiz Coach Academy. I mentioned that a little bit earlier in the webinar, but what it is, it's actually my biggest passion as a VA. It's a little course that I developed to really help coaches get in touch with who they are, their story, to really dive deep and figure out what their audience is, how to brand themselves. My passion is really to help you guys thrive. I have a section on Facebook in there where I will evaluate your current like page and kind of help you get it on track. You'll get, again, my best practices guide. It's the same thing, but it really ties in when you do the course. And then you also get a like page posting schedule worksheet from me. It's basically like a grid of the days of the week where you can kind of plug in what you want to talk about on your like page and make sure that you're doing enough videos and kind of keep yourself organized. It's just an organization tool. And then the very last week of the course, I get with you and go through the action steps on your first 3 weeks, and we really determine where you need to go with your business, and I help you prioritize what needs done and put it in the right order that's best for you and for your business. So it's 4 weeks of 2-hour live calls one-on-one. It's not like a set in stone academy is open from the 1st to the 30th or anything like that. It's whenever you want to start, whenever you want to do each call. That's totally up to you. You just get 4 live 2-hour calls. And you can go from there. So if you're interested in that academy, you can schedule a consultation at heathernoelvas.com/schedule-consultation. And I left that up on the ending slide for you. So from there, if you need anything, please message me. Please reach out to me. I don't mind responding to questions and concerns at all. And I look forward to working with any and all of you in the future.